Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing the Once Upon a Time graphic novel called Shadow of the Queen. Werewolves, fairy tales, and the huntsman. What more can you ask for? Shadow of the Queen takes place within the world of the television series Once Upon a Time, and it follows that of the huntsman who has already had his heart ripped out by the evil queen, Regina. Regina still wants to capture Snow White, so she teams up with a pack of werewolves to help her. But the huntsman does not want to be part of this, so he manages to run away, where he runs into Red Riding Hood and Snow White. The huntsman must face his own mysterious past, decide where his loyalties lie, and discover the meaning of free will and sacrifice. I have been eagerly anticipating this graphic novel for months. If you've been watching my channel, you'll know that a couple months ago I reviewed the Once Upon a Time novelization of Season 1 called Reawakened by Odette Bean. And if you recall that review, I was heavily disappointed with this book. And basically my review just described this book as a huge mess. So for this graphic novel, I was really anticipating this, and I was hoping that it would not disappoint me, which gladly it did not disappoint me one bit. Shadow of the Queen was a very enjoyable read from start to finish. Plus, like a lot of people really loved the huntsman character, aka Sheriff Graham in Storybrooke. But in the graphic novel, we do not get Sheriff Graham. The entire graphic novel takes place in the fairy tale world. Storybrooke is not part of it whatsoever. While reading this graphic novel, the thing that helped me most was to just imagine that I was watching a missing episode of the television series, because that's what it felt like. Really, the story is just an expansion on the world and the characters. The plot is much more focused on story and plot rather than character development. But one of the extra little things that we get to see in this graphic novel is this interesting connection between Red Riding Hood and the huntsman. And all I'll say is that we get to ship it, whereas on the show there was absolutely no shipping going on between Ruby and Graham. Next, since this is a graphic novel, I have to talk about the artwork of the book. The book itself is divided into 4 different chapters, and each chapter has a different artist. But to be honest, I didn't like that the book was told through 4 different artistic structures. The character artwork, for instance, I felt like the characters weren't consistent in their looks from start to finish. The characters would have the same hair and the same clothes and a similar coloring of a sort, but each artist had a different interpretation of each character and their look. So that's what I mean by consistency, that the characters, kind of their facial features more than anything, weren't matching up from start to finish. Even though the artwork wasn't entirely consistent and didn't match up throughout the entire book, I still oddly liked the artwork. Chapters 1, 3, and 4 were probably my favorites, but Chapter 2, I honestly do not know what the deal is with Chapter 2. I guess the best way to show you the different types of artwork is to just physically show you what the book looks like inside. This is the artwork for Chapter 1. Artwork for Chapter 3, and the artwork for Chapter 4. This is Chapter 2. See how the artwork is really vibrant and colorful, and it kind of looks really retro to me? I did not like the Chapter 2 artwork whatsoever. Just kind of showing you a couple pages. It's too bright for me, and whereas here's some Chapter 1 artwork. I love the subtlety of the artwork of Chapter 1. It's just very beautiful, and like Regina, for instance, that looks like Lana Priya. And I love, just look how subtle that is, and very beautiful coloring. So what I'm saying about the Chapter 2 artwork is that I was kind of momentarily distracted going from the subtlety of chapter 1 and then just the very dramaticness of chapter 2. And then even going into chapter 3, I had to readjust back into this more subtle artwork going out of chapter 2. The book is seriously not even that long. It's about maybe 100-some pages. It didn't take me long to even read, and I don't see why they couldn't have just one artist doing the whole thing since it's really short. It's just interesting that the creators of this graphic novel decided to take this more odd creative approach when I don't think it was necessary. But don't let the artwork deter you from getting this book. One of the great things about this book is basically the characters and the writing. The writing within the book is very much like the show. I think the character that was best captured was the writing of Regina. I could really hear Regina's voice in my head while reading. The writing is rather simplistic. There's only so much you can fit on a page. So it's not like there's these huge epic amounts of intense dialogue going on. The story, it's very from point A to point B to point C. Most importantly about the writing is that it captured the spirit of the television series. Though sometimes on the television series, lines would come out a certain way and they might not sound as cheesy, but in the graphic novels sometimes the lines did sound cheesy, whereas I think if physical actors were performing the lines within the graphic novel, they wouldn't sound so cheesy. Before I bought the book, I knew going into it that it was going to be about the huntsman. So there were a couple things that I was anticipating about it. And I also knew that Snow White was going to make an appearance within the story. So I was anticipating this big reunion between Snow White and the huntsman. Or I guess just some intensity between them, considering that the huntsman did try to kill her. Instead, the Snow White and Huntsman reunion is very casual. Snow White's not like, hey Red, we need to kill this guy, he tried to kill me. And then the Huntsman's not even apologizing, saying, Snow White, I'm sorry, Regina made me do it. The Snow White and Huntsman dialogue was very bland and just anticlimactic. Instead, Snow White, Red Riding Hood, and the Huntsman, they all meet up, they just talk really quickly, and then they go off on their mission to stop Regina, and that's it. And another thing, if you recall in Season 1, Episode 7, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, when the huntsman is about to kill Snow White, he cuts off like this little weed or something. It looks like a little weed of some sort that you can blow through, and the huntsman tells Snow White that if she ever needs his help, that she can use that and he'll come to her. So I was expecting maybe that little weed to come into play within this graphic novel, which it didn't. But I'm wondering if the writers of the show, just to get the actor who played Graham back on the show, I'm wondering if they have something planned, like Season 3 or Season 4 or something, where that little weed thingy will come into play. Going back to the artwork for a minute, I did have trouble sometimes figuring out objects or what was going on within a scene. There's a part where the huntsman, Snow and Red, they have to go to this lake and collect this little totem thingamajig. And the huntsman has the totem in his hand, but I can't even tell what it is that is in his hand. It looks like a little animal skull. I have no idea. So yeah, sometimes the artwork would be a little hard to decipher. This book also has some unique little extras at the back of the book, mostly artwork from the television series or character designs used within the graphic novel. I particularly loved that the book had the full Wanted poster used on the show, as well as Snow White's goodbye letter to Regina that she gives the huntsman to give to Regina. Overall, I really enjoyed this graphic novel. It wasn't the world's greatest graphic novel by any means, but I'm a huge fan of the Once Upon a Time television series, so this graphic novel was just a must for me to buy. And it was a great way for me to kind of fill up my time while I'm waiting for Season 3 to start. Plus, you get the huntsman. What more could you all ask for? I loved the huntsman / Sheriff Graham, and I was so sad when he left the show. So this book just, look at this cover. It's just the sexiest thing in the world. You get Graham. The one thing that I came out of this graphic novel taking with me was the fact that there is this flirtation going on between Red and the huntsman. And I finished the book and I was like, damn it, why didn't we get that on the show? As far as spoilers go for this graphic novel, you definitely need to have seen at least all of Season 1. You have to at least seen up to Episode 7 of Season 2, which has Red Riding Hood's backstory. So if you've not seen all of Season 2, or up to that point at least, you need to at least get up to that point before starting this book, because there is minor spoilers. So that's it for my review of the Shadow of the Queen graphic novel. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.